What's going on, YouTube? Happy Friday. The funnest day of the week for some of you guys, but I don't care about what day of the week it is. A day is what you make it. So here we go. Was Mother Teresa... I just bit my tongue. Was Mother Teresa right? This is going to be a very interesting topic. There are some of you out there right now who want to do a great social good. You want to feed all the children in Africa, all of the United States. You want to rescue all the polar bears and the dogs and everything. You just want to do so good, and you want to quit your job to do these kind of things, to do a social good. But here's the problem. A lot of us, in order to help the poor, we think the best way to help the poor is to become poor ourselves. Now, listen to what I just said. We think the best way to help the poor is to become poor ourselves. Meaning, I met a guy when I was in Nepal. Actually, it was my first day in Nepal. A gentleman from America. He was there with his family in Nepal. And I said, what are you doing here? He said, we are doing our mission and we're spreading, his religion in Nepal, and they've been living there, and they live very minimal. They live in the village. They live just like the people and things like that. And I was thinking for a second, I was like, Now, you left your family, you left everything, your job and everything. Now you're doing a social good. And they're basically struggling in Nepal. They live off a certain, I think, $5 or $6 a day, and they kind of go through this life, and that's fine and good. And I'm not against the good part, but here's the thing: when you're on the plane, and the stewardess comes on and say, "Hey, when this oxygen mask falls down, we want you to put your mask on first before you assist someone else." Why? Because you really can't help someone else until you help yourself. You see, here's the thing. Some people think that if they throw money at a problem, you're going to fix it. Let me tell you another story. Those of you who've been following me for quite some time know that my wife and I, we stayed in Nicaragua for some months, maybe 4 to 5 months, or somewhere around there. Maybe even closer to 6. And one thing we noticed that when we walk in the morning, we walk down the street, there's a lot of local Nicaraguans, and they'll be like, "Gringo, gringo, gringo," and they'll try to ask you for money. And it's never a day that we weren't there, that we weren't asked for money. Everyone asked us for money. And it became to the point where it became annoying. And it's like these people didn't do anything all day. And don't get me wrong, some people think that third world countries mean that you can't succeed. No, there were very rich people there. Probably some more. This one guy in particular was probably richer. He probably could put himself in the top 3% of the wealthiest people in the United States. So, well, no, I wouldn't say that. But he definitely is an upper class individual. Okay? But here's the point. So it goes like this. It's like, so they would call us cheap, and if we would go out to dinner, we would have to pay for everything. And then some people would come down and donate clothes. They want to say, "I want to go to schools. I'm only here for a trip to give to these people." Now let me ask you a question. We complain about welfare in this country, and how we say that Barack Obama is a welfare president, and he gives to a lot of people, which makes them lazy. So how can we say it's wrong in this area? But then when we hear stories like, people quitting their jobs and doing social goods and becoming poor like people and giving to these people, that's great. Here's the thing. You cannot make someone great by giving them something. The only reason they're failing is because they don't have enough information to solve the problem they have. Think about that. So if you keep just throwing that money to the situation that they're in, how is that problem getting solved? They still have the same thoughts. They're still in the same situation. You just help them remain in that same situation that they're in. Because think about this. There are some people right now, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, who think they are poor and relate to themselves as poor people and don't have any plans to change. They even when they talk about themselves, they say, well, you know us poor people. We the poor people. And I always wondered, like, why are you putting yourself in that category? You're basically saying, I'm poor and I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life. No one likes the poor people. Where does that phrase come from? That is a ending phrase, meaning that you're done. You don't read no more books. You don't put no more. You don't step out of your comfort zone no more. You remain right there. So a lot of people say phrases like, well, money isn't everything. Well, if money isn't everything, stop going to work. Stop working for it. If money's not everything, stop making it. And see how long you survive. You see, and money is not an evil thing. Money's paper. These keys I have on my neck, right? They're harmless. But if I was to put this key in ignition and start the car and go on a high-speed chase with the police officers, now the keys have became evil. You know? So I'm not really a big fan of helping people with money. I like the idea of helping people with advice. I don't want a temporary solution. I want to fix the problem. I want to spend some time, and maybe a little bit longer, and say, hey, critique this. What do you think about that? Move. Go in this direction. Move. Keep growing. And then when you leave the individual, they're able to sustain a great lifestyle on their own. Isn't that more logical to do something like that than to just say, hey, we're going to give you some money? Look at welfare. Those people don't want to get off that system when they driving Cadillacs and living in 2-bedroom homes. I mean, living in, low-income homes with driving Mercedes and going out every night and nice clothes and polos and all that. Everyone knows that some people need the system, but some people are abusing that system. It's not rocket science. We know that. So I just had to chime in on this because I think this is a big debate for some people. Some people just say, I want to do the social good. I am going to tell my wife to leave her job and tell my kids to leave school, and we're going to help people, even though we have not helped ourselves, because now you've taken your kids out and getting a lot, a great education and things of that nature. So now you're lowering yourself to try to help people raise up. That motto isn't great for me. This is the motto I like, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. The motto I like is this: is working on you, becoming a better you, getting up every day where you work on you so much that when you walk in people, you find people staring at you because they're staring at you like, look at that specimen, look at that person, look at that being. How did he become like that? How did she become like that? And then you help people. Sometimes you work on yourself so much you don't even have to say anything. You just walk into a room and people are changed because they love the way you walk. They love your confidence. They love these kind of things. So I just don't get it. I just don't think that. I think that's the best model. I think it's you gotta help yourself first because a lot of people don't love themselves. Some people hate themselves. Some people have the self-esteem of an ant. If you don't love yourself, nobody else is going to love you. That's my advice. I think that we should just become upright human beings and pass it on. That's the best help. And I started this with Mother Teresa. Don't you think I'm saying anything negative about Mother Teresa? About her doing the great things that she did. I admire that. But also, Mother Teresa didn't have kids. She didn't have a husband to take care of. So it was just her. So that's an easy decision to make when you only have to take care of you. All right? But when you have a family and kids and it's just you come first. Then help others. You can't be a weak person helping weak people rise. It doesn't work. So with that said, guys, thank you guys for watching this channel. Please subscribe. And until next time, Signing off.